Hello, everybody. It's me, Andy.
And I'm Sean.
And this is the Commander's Brew.
This week, achievement unlocked, Rite of Replication.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's episode 122 of the Commander's Brew. Another achievement unlocked.
Yeah. Another achievement unlocked. You'll recall we did one of these recently with the Great Aurora and with a Hellkite Tyrant, but we kind of got inspired. Like, that's a cool way to brew decks. Like, we like brewing achievement unlocked decks. So I guess it's unofficially a little series now. Like, we'll just pepper these in over time.
That's right. Actually, this wasn't even called an achievement unlocked until like 5 minutes before we started recording.
Basically, yeah.
Because we realized, hey, wait a second, this deck is basically just an achievement unlocked deck. So why not make it a series? So here we are, episode 122. And, oh, brother, a lot of things happening in the world of Magic.
Well, so much.
A lot of stuff. Have you been playing at all, anything?
I haven't had much play recently in terms of Magic because I just moved recently, and I've been pretty busy with work. It's just excuses. There's always time for more Magic.
It's true. It's coming up.
We did our regular Wednesday stream. We stream every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Did a couple of Iconic Masters drafts. That's a very fun draft format.
I had a dream I was drafting Iconic Masters last night.
Whoa.
And I was in California, and we were, it was just me and Jimmy and Josh. That's, okay, I'm just remembering this all right now. I'm not going to go into telling you about the weird parts of the dream, because that's the most boring thing in the world, is when someone's telling you way too much detail about their dream. But I just remember opening what was Iconic Masters, but then in the middle of the dream, it definitely switched to being the new Ixalan. But then I kept opening, I opened like so many of the like these like they were like expeditions or whatever, but like the cards were so weird and different because they were designed by like street artists. They had like graffiti on them and stuff, and I was just being like, what a strange direction. But like this is going to be worth money. This is a it was like a treasure map or whatever. Like, it was a weird card too. I was like, okay, well, sure. Like, mythic weird art version of this card. Yeah, why not?
Cool.
Yeah, so there you go.
I would dig like some street art versions of cards.
Yeah,
like some custom art. Does anyone do that? I know that like definitely some of our listeners do some custom stuff.
Yep.
Let me just say, I'm a big fan of like custom work. I've seen some great work out there. I guess I'll use this time to tie in. We have a Patreon.
Yep.
That's one of the reasons we're able to bring you this show and all of the layers to it, to generous donations. And then, we have the prize structure, right? If you donate different amounts, and one of the levels will send you our own custom card, like a card that we have put custom art on.
Yeah.
And it will be mediocre.
Yeah.
At best.
Not great.
That's great.
I mean, we try our best, but we're not that good at it. But there's been a couple that have worked out. There's usually a decent joke in there.
They're kind of funny.
Yeah, they're kind of funny. Depending on the base card you get, there's a level of funniness which you can reach, and I think we do a decent job at that.
We try to put them on at least playable cards.
Yes,
for
exactly.
Commander.
Exactly.
So hopefully you can squeeze it in. I mean, they're never going to be like, all-star cards necessarily, because
you're not getting a consecrated Sphinx from us.
No.
We're not going to alter a consecrated Sphinx and send it out to you, like a Craterhoof Behemoth or something. But you might get something else. You might get a little Banner Rock or something like that.
Yeah. I think we did a Gray Merchant at one point.
Wow, that's a great card.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that card a little bit in this set, I think, or in this episode.
We certainly will. We're also sponsored by Ultimate Guard, Sleeves and Boxes. In part of my move, one of the exciting things I'm up to is deciding where I'm going to put all my Magic cards. Like, where are they going to live now?
Right.
Yeah.
You're going to get some boxes? You're going to get some storage solutions?
Storage systems. I'm all about them boulders, man. I want them boulders.
I love the boulder so much.
I have one archive, and it holds like my top commander decks that I'm like currently excited about.
Yeah.
But I think I might want another archive and more boulders for my like. Once you get on that train, man, you can't stop. Like I got one archive and a bunch of like regular boxes. I'm like, this will not do.
It's weird to have. I don't know. It's just weird. Like as when I listen to other podcasts, and I hear people talk about their sponsors, and they're always very good, and they're legit when they talk about it, and like that's us too, because the reason we we approached Ultimate Guard, because we approached them about our show, is because we actually really like their stuff. So archives, boulders, and like their sleeves, their matte sleeves are my favorite.
It started with the sleeves. I swear,
Yeah.
I went on a real sleeve journey. But Ultimate Guard matte finish sleeves are tops. They look good. They don't reflect the light bulbs in the room directly, so that it like covers the art. And I have a set on my draft kit. I play with it like every week if I'm like on my A game and I'm out and active.
Yeah.
And like they don't get sticky. They don't get they shuffle well. They don't rip easy. They're just the best.
Yep.
I think they're the best sleeves on the market.
And I mean, don't take our word for it. You can go check out the professor. He reviewed all these products, and they all get great grades from him. So, anyways, there you go.
Great
Ultimate Guard's a solid company, and feel good about it if you want to support them. We're gonna give some stuff away. Is that gonna be this? Are we gonna do that this week, or are we gonna do that next week? We said we'd do it this week, I think.
We said we'd do it this week.
So we have
and
to.
We missed a week last week. So do we have all the information set? Do we have the right name?
Yeah. So let's name the winners of the hashtag Brews News contest. I'm recording this after the podcast, so this is like an awkward edit to put in, but here we are. So we had we had a lot of great entries, actually. And we've got some wicked Ultimate Guard stuff to give away for this, so let's just get right to it. So, a lot of fun stuff given in. We had a lot of like, just say, get your pet spayed and neutered, which I thought was funny because it's not a game show, it's the news. They said Drew Carey says that at the end of Price is Right. Because of Bob Barker. But anyways, we also had a lot of like, just say what Walter Cronkite says. It's like, okay, that's closer. But those are all great suggestions. There was a lot of fun puns and stuff like that. There was a good Sharding Sphinx one, which I don't think we're going to go with. But we wanted to get some honorable mentions and then a winner. All of these that I'm about to say are going to win some Ultimate Guard products. We got a couple deck boxes. We've got a bunch of playmats, and we have some sleeves as well. So you'll be getting all of that if I basically say your name right now. So one that I really liked is Jessica Angel. Jessica Angel at Jessica Angel on Twitter gave us, until next time, keep cruising for a bruise in. Just a classic one there. Nice little play on Brews. Not the winner, but definitely honorable mention. So at Jessica Angel, if you want to direct message us on Twitter with your information, we will send you out a little prize pack of Ultimate Guard goodies for being a runner-up. Also, we had Tyler Tenorio at Thai Magic Guy. He gave us a couple, and I thought they were good, and I appreciated getting like 3 of them. So this is going to be an honorable mention also. Thai Magic Guy says, until next time, get your brew on. We bring the brews to give you the news. Brew on, listeners, brew on. 3 great suggestions. Like all of them. So you get an honorable mention prize pack as well. Alexander Stoanow at Aklex33 had close to what we liked as the winner, and so we decided you got to give him a prize pack for that. So he said, "Brews News accomplished, pass priority." Short, simple. I like it a lot. The pass priority thing is kind of what we ended up going with, as you'll see, because our winner is at Malamobarp. Barry said, now his is long. We're actually going to cut it down a bit, but we liked generally the gist of it. That's all the Brews news for this week. We're all tapped out. So until next week, loyal listeners, we pass the turn to you. Good night. So we're not going to say all of that because it's a bit of a mouthful, but we're basically going to say it's all the Brews news for this week. Pass the turn to you. Good night. That's what we're going with. Pass the turn to you. Simple stuff. I mean, we got a lot of like super creative, very funny entries. But I think we're just gonna go with something like a bit simple and kind of you know deep magic. You know what I mean? People, only us Magic players will know that kind of stuff. So that's what it is. And now I return you. So congratulations to all the winners. We will be sending you guys out prize packs if you message us on Twitter. Direct message us on Twitter /at us so that we can direct message us and then we can send our stuff out to you. Okay, back to the podcast. Bye.
We got one more sponsor too, the Wizard's Tower. Great place to buy sleeves. Andy, did you take a part in any Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all of those deals?
I'm a dummy because I bought basically like a full deck the week before Black Friday. I should have taken it. I should have like thought ahead and was like, hey, wait, they're supposed to be Black Friday. I didn't even think about it. Black Friday happened, and I was like, oh, it's Black Friday. Oh man, like I wasn't. I was not prepared.
Well, at least you'll have those cards quicker.
I have them already. I made that order. I got it very, very quickly. I got it within 3 or 4 days or something, 2 or 3 days.
And also, like, arguably, stuff gets cleaned out. Like, maybe the cards you want won't be there.
But I did miss out on those sweet, sweet deals. And one thing I noticed is that they had a bunch of Iconic Master stuff in. And I'm guessing now that people have taken advantage of that and gotten their singles from Iconic Masters. I was looking hard at a Consecrated Sphinx. Speaking of, those things are dropped right down in price, man. They used to be like almost $30, and now they're like down to like 10, 12 or something.
And like, what about them Thran Dynamos, man?
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about that, and I decided against ordering them.
Ooh, why?
I don't know. I've never had a Thran Dynamo, and I've never missed having one.
Wow, that's flawed logic.
It is, but also, look, it's a good card, no question. But like, I don't know. I just, I don't know. It's like it's still like what, $3-4?
I haven't looked. I don't even know.
It's still like not like dirt cheap. So I was like, you know what? I don't even know if I really need these. But if you do need them, get them from Wizard's Tower.
Yeah,
that's the place to go.
Great.
That's all our business.
We have to do an ad. We have to do Wizard Tower ad.
Oh, right. I think last episode we forgot to say when the ad was, so I just had to insert it randomly in the middle of our conversation.
You know what? I think it was. I didn't notice. It seemed smooth to me.
It was. I think it was smoother in the YouTube video than it was in the audio.
Okay.
But yeah, anyways, here it is. Here's the ad for Wizard Tower.
Ooh, what's the matter, Ixalan? Are you upset? Because I got into the college program you wanted to, but you did not? Or are you also upset because I got a hot date to the prom with the exact person that you also wanted to go with? Or perhaps you're upset because I drive a sweet vehicle that you only wish you had. Looks like a classic rivalry setup. I guess you could say I am one of the rivals of Ixalan. And you know what else I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make it so they can't buy their favorite Magic singles, because I'm gonna buy them all first from the Wizard's Tower, wizardtower.com. If I buy $15 or more in singles, I'll get them shipped for free anywhere in Canada or the USA. And if I use coupon code BREWVEMBER, if it's November, but if I'm ordering in December, I'll use coupon code BREWSMAS to get an extra 5% off, and I'll get 3% kickback for my next order. Pretty good. You know, while I'm wearing your favorite jacket that I bought from the store, Ixalan. Nice knowing ya.
There you have it.
There we go.
Yeah,
Yes.
there it is. Yeah, you mentioned the stream, the Wednesday stream. I think that's the last time I actually played Magic. I haven't been able to make it out to a Magic night in a long time, but I will this Tuesday.
Yeah.
Will this Tuesday for sure. Bunch of things happening with the show. We got a lot of pots on the stove right now.
Pots on the stove.
A lot of things coming up. Can we just briefly mention that we are getting playmats?
Yes.
Because that's coming right up.
We have we I should be careful with my words. I am not in possession of. There are no actual playmats printed yet, but we have playmat art. We have like a printer hookup. We're lined up. We're ready to go. In a very short while, we will have physical playmats on offer. We're gonna, obviously. We got to figure out how to get those to you. Right? If you want,
patrons, of course, will be involved, but we're looking to try and hook it up where simply you can, simply buy one.
Just straight buy one.
Yeah, just straight up buy one.
Matt Strott did the art. He's the guy who did our logo art. I think I'm very proud of it. I think he did a fantastic job. It's got a lot of silly, jokey stuff in there, which is very much our brand. So.
Should we show people what it is?
I don't know. Let's not right now, because I feel like we should make a big deal out of it.
Okay,
this seems like we just randomly did it.
We'll do a separate little thing to show people.
Okay.
So that'll come out like basically right after this.
And I'm kind of inclined to at least show our patrons first. At least give them a sneak peek.
Great idea. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so we'll do that. So stay tuned for that, though. Everyone, not just patrons. We're going to show. We'll probably post a little video with the image there.
Yeah.
So it's fun. If you've been, the longer you've been listening to the show, the more reward you'll get out of it. But in general, you're still going to have a blast looking at it. I think it's a lot of fun.
It's one of those things where you're going to be like, ooh. I know this is a joke, but I don't get what it is right now. And you get to discover what the joke is.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's right. If you haven't heard the episode where we made that joke, you get to go back and discover it for the first time.
We should have a treasure map that says where they can listen for those jokes.
Oh, that's a great idea, actually. Like, what episode is each of these things from? Each of these little references.
Yeah, it's gonna be tricky to compile because I don't remember where they came from.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, but. Yeah, we'll do it. Okay. You know who did it? I think is Matt. Matt is the one who went through and re-listened to a bunch of stuff. I think in preparation for drawing it. So
yeah, maybe.
Anyways, let's get to the episode. What do you think?
Yes, let's get to this achievement unlocked. It's a Rite of Replication. So. It's an achievement unlocked. How can we? I love this card, right? That's the good side. That's a good achievement unlocked topic. It's a card that you like. So, Rite of Replication. Let's read it. 2 blue for a sorcery, and it's got kicker 5, which we are always going to pay. That's the whole point of this card. so it's really a 9 mana card, which is certainly pricey, but you get your money's worth. Mm-hmm. Put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of target creature. If Rite of Replication was kicked, put 5 of those tokens onto the battlefield instead. So you just get 5 instantaneous copies of a creature, and part of the key is they don't enter one at a time. They all enter at the exact same time. And all of the triggered enter the battlefield effects will happen. So we tried to put together a deck where we capitalize on that. Are there some cards, and there are, we want to focus on a bit of ramp to get our deck going. And we want to cast some creatures that seem kind of dull on their own, but when they are kicked with Rite of Replication, they're kind of game winners or close to game winners on their own. And the idea is there are enough of them where it kind of doesn't matter. Like, you want to kill this creature? Fine, I've got others. I've got others that work with it. No problem.
Yeah, Rite of Replication. Everyone's very familiar with this card, and I think a lot of people are familiar just with the base, ability for this card to help win you a game. Like, I've never seen a Rite of Replication kicked that resolved that wasn't like, okay, now that person has a huge advantage. Like even when when you're like, okay, well, I guess I'll do it on your, like the random creature that's the best one that's on the battlefield. Like it's not even really working out in your favor necessarily. Like it's not even working out to your plan exactly, but it's still going to be that good. It's just still going to be amazing. It's going to put you way ahead in the game. So the fact that you are going to be able to hit things that might just win you the game that's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's that's the idea, right? Get in there, ramp it up a bit. Let's try and hit that 9 mana as soon as we can. Cast some creatures that are, they don't look that scary.
No.
They're not super, people aren't going to worry about them basically, especially once they've already hit. Please. They've already hit.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those things where, like, until, like, the first time you play this deck, I bet you can sneak out some pretty cool stuff. But, if this becomes your regular favorite deck, and it might, this is a very fun deck for me, and if you share our sensibilities. But, like, I'll just say right off the top, the weakness of it is it has if everyone knows what's coming, they can probably hold up some defense against it.
Yeah. Basically, you counter Rite of Replication with, like, a Dissipate or something.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Or even, like...
We're in some trouble.
It is also easily stoppable if you, like, destroy the creature that you're trying to target in response.
That's true, because this is a target. This isn't like a clone.
I know.
This is a target.
So, like, get them hexproofs and shrouds going.
Have your own counter spells ready to go. That's also a good thing.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's not worry about all that. Let's just talk about how fun this is.
Great. So to start off with, there are lots of creatures in lots of different colors. That's a tough call. So I decided to go with a 5-color general and just have all 5 colors. So why not General Tazri? 4 and a white for a 3/4, easy to cast. But we know Tazri has that 5-color identity with the activated ability. But basically, when Tazri enters the battlefield, you can search your library for any ally card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. The activated ability just pumps up all your ally creatures, which we're not really going to focus on probably. But it is possible that that's a thing. Anyway, it's Wooburg. All one of each color. Allies get +X/+X, where X is the number of colors among those creatures. So, that's never going to be a ton. So, I don't
it feels
think
like that's probably not going to really be worth it.
But he's a little tutor for a creature, right? And that will matter.
She is. Yeah.
She. Sorry. Yes. Sorry. Tazri. Right. And we'll definitely get to that in a sec. And I just want to say right now, before we get too deep here, that when you copy something, it copies all of the copyable characteristics, including converted mana cost, including like the symbols, including the power and toughness, all that stuff. So copies do have CMC, and they do contribute to devotion, which we will obviously talk about momentarily.
Oh, I guess. All right.
Yeah. So I'm going to start because I don't want to end with tutors to get Rite of Replication. We have to have a few tutors. That's the trouble about brewing around like a sorcery or an instant, because you just got to make sure you get it.
Right.
They're always tough on the budget. So we've talked about these so often. We know Tamio's journal is going to be great, right? 5 colorless. Every upkeep you get a clue, and if you tap Tamio's journal and sacrifice 3 clues, you get to tutor for anything. So over time, it is repeatable tutors. So like we can tutor a bunch of stuff. I love this card. I think it's good in any deck, and it's especially good when we have to tutor sometimes.
Right. And next is Ring of 3 Wishes. This is one that we featured on the show a lot more in the earlier days. And since we've had stuff like Tamio's Journal, we've kind of shied away from it, mostly because it's still, it was pricier before. Did it get reprinted or something?
No, I think people just got a bit down on it.
Yeah, maybe since like Tamio's Journal, we heard the price of it. But Ring of 3 Wishes is 5 mana artifact. It enters with 3 wish counters on it, and you pay 5 and tap it, remove a wish counter, and tutor for something. We've said it many times. It's very expensive. 10 mana to sink into this guy before you get your first card out of it. So it's not the best, but it is decent when you're talking about colors that don't tutor, or when you're talking about all the colors, because it is both colorless to cast it and to activate it. So
Yeah,
It's
we're
okay.
thinking budget. Like, if
Yeah.
you love this deck and you can afford like a couple of sick tutors, man, go
Yeah,
for it.
get your mystical
Right?
tutor for sure, right?
Yeah.
$6 didn't fit in this budget version, but like, if you got one, use it.
Yeah, for sure. And then but there's one tutor here that I think is great, that it's still pretty budget. It's Behold the Beyond. This was from Shadows over Innistrad. It's a couple gumballs right now for a mythic. It's pricey. It's mana intensive. It's 5 black for a sorcery, but you discard your hand, search your library for 3 cards, and put those cards into your hand. Then shuffle your library. The beauty of this card is we probably don't care whatever we throw away because we're going to get Rite of Replication, a sick creature that like combos well with it, and maybe a counter spell or something to like protect what's going on. So like this is a combo player's dream.
Yeah, it really is.
It's not fast, but like after this, like next turn, you're like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, if you have a 3-card combo, Behold the Beyond will get it for you.
Yeah, right. So like the fact that this is a couple gumballs is like I think that's only because of how much it costs to cast, but it is well worth every mana.
Interesting. Okay. All-star targets. Let's get into it. So the idea, obviously, you can't just cast Rite of Replication on anything.
Right.
You want to have targets in your own deck. This isn't one of those decks where all we're doing is copying our opponent's stuff. We're copying our own stuff, ideally. And there are a couple of creatures that when they are a Rite of Replication kicked, they do massive damage or just win you the game or do a lot of things like that. So the first one is a card we actually already mentioned briefly this episode is Grey Merchant of Asphodel.
Yeah.
We all know Gary. He's 3 black for a 2/4 zombie. When Gary enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, where X is your devotion to black. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. I feel like a lot of Dimir decks, especially Reanimator stuff, just already played with this combo, like play this thing where they just want to get Gary a million times. But if you kick Rite of Replication and you have Grey Merchant of Asphodel already out, so each 5 sees minimum, if you have no other black pips, 12 pips.
Right? Because you get 5 new copies that all appear instantaneously. So 5, that's 6 Garys, each at 2 pips.
Yeah.
Right? That's 12 pips
12
minimum.
times 5 is 60.
Yeah.
So that's each opponent loses 60 life and you gain what? 360 life.
Well, it depends how many players there are.
I always assume a
you've
game of
probably-
5 for some reason, but yes, yeah.
You've probably won, so who cares how much life you
Actually, you would no, not 360. That's my bad. It's only 300, but still.
It's only 300. That's if anyone is still alive.
Yeah, exactly. But they're not because they all died because no one has more than 60 life. Not a chance. So Grey Merchant crushes. This is one of the best ones to Rite of
Yeah.
Replication. It just simply ends the game if you make it work.
I have lost to this combo in a deck that wasn't the whole point of it, but it was in there, and I was like, ooh, I want to do that.
Yeah, so it's a great one, man. This is just math. This is just math adding up to kill you.
Yeah. Another creature that is great is, and a known great one is Vela the Nightclad. She's a legendary human wizard, 4 black-blue, 6 to cast. She has Intimidate, so can't be blocked except by blue or black or colorless creatures. No, actually, it says artifact creatures. Yeah.
Oh, it is artifact creatures. Oh,
It has to share a color. So a devoid creature cannot block Vela.
True, but like a red artifact creature could.
Yes, correct. Other creatures you control have Intimidate, so she just makes it so a lot of your team's unblockable. If you had already copied something that isn't an insta-kill, but you have a lot of, like, let's say you had to copy an opponent's just beefy attacker, well, Vela helps you get them through. Whenever Vela, the Nightclad, or another creature you control leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. So, if you kick this, she is legendary. So, 5 Velas will appear, creating 6 total. But 5 of them have to disappear right away because of the legendary rule. So that means, if I'm doing my math right, 6 Velas each saw 5 Velas aka other creature or a creature, leave the battlefield. So 6 times 5, that's 30. Each opponent is going to lose 30 life. Not necessarily an instant kill, but a hefty way there, and probably a couple of kills.
Is there some? Isn't?
Am I doing the math wrong on that?
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right because the one that stays still only sees 5 leave.
Yes.
They all see 5 leave because they do see themselves as well.
Yep.
So I think you're right.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we might be a little off on some of this math once in a while.
I might be.
Because these are basically brain teasers. These are basically little puzzles you have to figure out. But
it's a lot of 6 times 5. That comes up a lot.
Comes up a lot. So a lot of 30s.
A lot of 30s.
But yeah, so that's pretty great. It's 30 life taken away from everybody. Like all you need to do is just have your opponents engage in combat at some point before this, basically, right? Like,
and that's the thing. If you're just dropping these weird random 5-color creatures, they might not see what's up, and they might just start like, well, you're not a threat. I'll attack this guy maybe, or I'll do something here. Like
it's like, oh, I'll attack you with this 5/5, and they're like, okay, well, I guess I'll take it. Like, you know, or attack you with this 3/3 and this 2/2, and you're like, what are you doing?
Sure. Yeah, and then it's like, yeah, I would be surprised if you got to this point in the game where you're ready to cast Rite, where people have not taken a bit of damage.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully you don't have a crazy life gain deck in there, but even then that'll still be very good for taking them down a bunch.
Well, we have options for that too. You'll see.
Great. Another one that you can kick with the Rite is a Fanatic of Mogus. It's basically the red version of Gary a little bit. 3 in a red for a 4/2 Minotaur Shaman. When Fanatic of Mogus enters the battlefield, it deals damage to each opponent equal to your devotion to red.
Right.
So, yeah, this one's less because Gary has 2 pips in his casting cost, whereas Fanatic of Mogus only has the 1. 5 enter.
Such a big difference.
Such a huge difference. Double. So you only get half the stuff here, right? So 5 enter plus the original. Each one entering sees 6 pips. So 6 times 5, same thing. We get 30. So it's more like Vela than it is like Gary, right? We're not talking about 12 times 5 here.
Yeah, it is each opponent, which is great. And I want to thank, so as you know, one of the rewards of being a patron is that we put our deck lists up in advance. We get chatting about it. This card was a wonderful suggestion by Vinin126. Thank you for that. Yeah. And then so like, yeah, 6 times 5 is the minimum if all you have is Fnatic. But if you have any other red pips, like it's 7 times 5, 8 times 5. So it gets up to 40 pretty easily.
Yeah, with 2 more pips, you're talking about 40 hitting everyone for 40. So
yeah.
Right. It's pretty it's pretty easy to make that happen.
Sure. Even in a 5-color deck, we have a lot of like random pips here and there. Okay. So one thing that's also going on is there's a little bit of a constellation theme in here, because a lot of constellation creatures are also enchantment creatures, and they care about enchantments entering. Well, guess what? If you kick those, you're making 5 enchantments appear at the exact same time, and they all see each other appear, so you get this massive multiplication thing. I'd like to start with Grim Guardian. 2 and a black for a zombie, 1/4. Constellation. Whenever Grim Guardian or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life. So again, we kick this. We now have 6 Grim Guardians that each saw 5 enter. So each one sees 5. So it's a 6 times 5. Each opponent is losing 30 life there.
Amazing. Yeah. So like this is another one, not an insta kill, but like pretty close.
Well, and then because it's constellation. So let's say you did that and there's 1 player still standing. You now have 6 Grim Guardians down, so if you manage to lock another constellation creature down, that's 6 more Grim Guardian triggers. So they will lose 6 additional life every other enchantment you cast.
I feel like this is a card that we will often just throw into enchantment decks because it's got an enchantment trigger and it's an enchantment creature, and it's like well, losing 1 or 2 life a turn, it's not nothing. It does add up.
It's not nothing. It does. It definitely does.
But those decks where you want to spam creatures, like where you make copies, like Grim Guardian, starts to add up real quick. Also, we have Forgeborn Oreads. Whenever Forgeborn Oreads or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, Forgeborn Oreads deals 1 damage to target creature or player. So Grim Guardian hits each opponent for 1 life, and then Forgeborn Oreads can hit creatures or target player. So target creature or target player. So definitely the more red version, definitely this similar feel, and you can help get that one player who has that higher life total down a little bit more with this one.
Yeah, definitely a worse option because it only will target 1 player.
Yeah.
You're not going to get 30 from everybody, but it's still a good one to kick if it gets to that point.
Yeah, sure.
So one more enchantment I want to talk about. This is sort of like the backup plan to Rite of Replication. It's Infinite Reflection. It's an enchantment, aura. 5 blue, enchant creature. When Infinite Reflection enters the battlefield attached to a creature, each other non-token creature you control becomes a copy of that creature. Non-token creatures you control enter the battlefield as a copy of enchanted creature. So now let's think back to some of these creatures. Let's say you don't have Rite of Replication, but if you cast this on Grey Merchant, on Gary, maybe now you have 4 Garys on the table, which they just turn into Garys. They don't enter the battlefield, so that doesn't matter.
Right.
But if you drop every creature you cast from that point on while this is around is another Gary, and then another Gary, and then another Gary. Or like think about Grim Guardian, right? I'll put down 1 Grim Guardian with the 6 that are already there, so there's 6 triggers. The next one gets 7 triggers. The next one gets 8 triggers. Like, it really does add up.
Now, we did a whole episode on Infinite Reflection.
We did.
Where we talked about that, similar things like that and how to really use that card. So go back and listen to that. I don't know what episode it is.
Yeah.
I have no clue. I'll look it up right now while Sean explains the next card.
And here's a target that is great for Infinite Reflection. Specifically, it's Inferno Titan. 4 red for a giant. It's a 6/6. Whenever Inferno Titan enters the battlefield or attacks, it deals 3 damage divided however you want among creatures and players. And it has fire breathing, but that's kind of the least of it. But so if you Rite of Replication an Inferno Titan, you're getting 5 new Inferno Titans. That's 15 damage where you get to spread around anywhere you want. But if you Infinite Reflection an Inferno Titan, everything becomes an Inferno Titan and probably doesn't have summoning sickness because they've been around a while. Now you attack with like half a dozen to a dozen Inferno Titans and do another 15 to 30 damage wherever you want.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It was episode 84 was Infinite Reflection.
Ooh,
if you want to go
nice.
back and check that one out.
Nice.
Yeah. Inferno Titan, a solid choice for ETB, but then he pays off even more as more of them are out on the battlefield. So he's a great target for that.
For sure.
Great. Okay, cool. Well, we've got General Tazri here.
Uh-huh.
And she has a pretty sweet little ability, right? When you cast her,
Yep.
you get another ally from your deck. So
Yep.
why not take a look at a couple of the allies? What do they do? Some of those guys have things when they enter the battlefield too, right?
Oh, man, we definitely have a little bit of an ally theme here. Just a little bit, because allies... Constellation pays off in multiples, but allies pays off exponentially in multiples.
Yeah, so the first one we're going to look at here is Calastria Healer. 1 and a black with Rally. It's with the new version of the ally ability. Whenever Calastria... it's a 1/2. Whenever Calastria Healer or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So it's like a little Gary.
So, right. So, again, I think this is a 6 times 5. So 5 new ones. So the original one plus the 5 new ones each saw 5 allies enter the battlefield. So yeah, that's another 30. But that is if... and so then from every point forward, each new ally does another 6 to everybody. And right? So like it adds up.
No, it's more than that. It's every one of those allies sees that ally enter, isn't it?
Yeah, but so the first Rite of
Well, they
Replication
only
on it,
see one, of course. Right.
if it doesn't get so, and again, let's just think about as well. Let's think about if we infinite reflect one of these, right? Then it's just like everything is an ally, and it triggers itself and all the other ones, and that gets big.
It gets very big. Clash Reveal is a great one. What's the next one here?
Ooh, Halimar Excavator. This one's kind of like, this one is one of the few creatures that will win with just Rite of Replication alone.
Oh, okay.
1 and a blue for a human wizard ally, 1/3. Whenever Halimar Excavator or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, target player puts the top X cards of his or her library into the graveyard, where X is the number of allies you control. So this math gets confusing because this is not a 5x6. So you Rite of Replication this guy, and so now you have 5 new allies appearing. So you have 6 minimum. You have 6 minimum allies, and each one saw. So each one is triggering 5 times because each one saw 5 enter, but they're hitting for 6. So it's 6 times 5 times 6. So you have 30 times. So basically you have 30 hits, right? Each one that came in gets to mill for 30. And you have 5 of those triggers. So you'll definitely mill one player out if you want. And if you do if you just check libraries, you could get a couple of people this way.
Right. So it isn't so much an instant kill, it's an instant kill one player.
That's what I meant. Yes,
right,
yes. Yeah.
It's
instant
not like
kill,
it's not an
player.
instant win, it's an instant kill on one player. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Yeah. This is one of the ones I thought of when we first talked about the deck. Because it's so explosive and it can just kill a player out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it looks so like, what? Like, oh, I guess you're running an ally deck. Was like, well, I guess I'll get milled a few cards, here and there.
Yeah, people are gonna think it's just like, what? So I mill 30 cards? It's like, no. You're gonna mill 30 times 5.
Yeah. 150. Quick
Cool.
math. And finally, we have Turn Timber Ranger. This is my favorite ally. 3 green for an elf scout ally. He's a 2/2, and whenever Turn Timber Ranger or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a 2/2 green wolf creature token onto the battlefield. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on Turn Timber Ranger. So he makes wolves for every ally for when he enters, and for every ally that comes in. Plus, you put +1/+1 counters on him. It's really he gets big. You get a million token. Like, how many tokens do you get out of this?
30 wolves.
30 wolves just with this. So that's often enough to just kill someone, obviously, as well.
Yeah, like you gotta survive the table, or you have to
haste.
like have haste or something. But yeah, if you kick a Rite of Replication on this guy. And I forget how big each one gets. I think each one is 8/8. I think 5 + 3.
5 + 3. That's how it works. Because it's a 2/2, and it puts one on itself when it comes in, plus all the rest of it.
Yeah. So each
3
one
plus
adds
5. That makes sense.
5
I think. Yeah.
tokens. So sorry, 7/7. But 30 wolves. Anyways. It gets hard to do.
It does, yeah.
It's hard to do the math. This could have also been another one of our maths episodes.
Yeah, that's true. Easily. But just know, this is very good.
Yeah.
And like, it's not like, oh, will I get it? It's like, when you cast your commander, you will get one of these guys as well.
Yeah.
Simple as that. So
you'll get an ally, right?
Yeah.
And so like Turn Timber Ranger isn't like, is that your favorite ally to Rite of Replication kick? I'd rather do Gary. I'd rather do Calastria Healer, but he's in here as well because the allies are exponential. Like it starts to get way better as you have a couple extra. And I'm happy to have this guy just sitting around getting me some random tokens here or there.
Yeah, just to block, just to stay alive even.
Sure.
Also note, Gary, not an ally.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I didn't mean as an ally.
I know.
Like, I have preferred targets.
You have more preferred targets, yeah.
So we're going to talk about a couple of like other interesting targets, right? These aren't necessarily instant kills, but these are fascinating ones to Rite of Replication. And all of these come from our patron discussion, right? These are different patrons have like suggested these cards, and we're so grateful for them because they seem really fun.
Yeah.
And I didn't think of all of these myself at the time. So let's thank Mr. Hofer for Direfleet Ravager. 3 black for an orc pirate wizard. This is right from Ixalan now. Menace, Death Touch 4/4. When Direfleet Ravager enters the battlefield, each player loses a third of his or her life rounded up. So if you kick this guy, and you're gonna get 5 triggers of everyone losing a third of their life rounding up. So I does that kill everybody, or like will you die too from that?
Well, is it like, how does it work? How do the rules work? Like, does it, if you have 40 life,
Okay,
and
let's
it's trying to hit you for a third, so
Okay,
that's
so
what, 13.3 repeating, right?
So it rounds up to 14.
So it rounds up, so 14. So it's going to take
So-
4. Now, because they all come in at the same time, is it like a static thing where it goes, okay, now you all like now lose 14 life 5 times, or does
No,
it go? Does it
each
look
one-
as each trigger resolves and go, what's a third of your life?
Yes.
What's a third of your life? Okay.
Yes.
So it'll never kill you. It'll never kill
No, it
everyone.
will, but it will if you have less than 3. If you have 1 life.
I guess yeah, because it's rounded up
Yeah, it is. It can kill.
a third. So like,
So basically,
so it'll go like, so first it goes 14, bam,
Yeah.
down. So now you have 26 life. A third
Right.
of 26 is the most basic
smart.
division.
8 rounded up.
So
9.
It's rounded up. So 9. So 26 minus 9. Where's the clear thing on this? Oh, there it is. So 26 minus
17.
9 is 17.
That's 2.
Divided by 3 is 5.6, so 6.
Yeah. So 17 minus 6.
So is 9.
9.
No, sorry,
That's
17
easy.
minus 6 is 11, sorry.
Okay, yeah.
So 11 divided by 3 is
3 and a bit.
3.6, so 4.
Okay.
So that's 7.
Yeah.
So 11 minus 4 is 7. So 7 divided by 3 is okay, I did not do that right.
2 and a bit.
It's like 2 and a bit, so rounded
Everyone goes to
up, so that's 3.
4.
So you go to 4.
And then one more.
4 divided by 3 is 1.3, so go up, it's 2. So 2.
Everyone's at 2.
So you get down to 2.
Everyone's at 2. Oh, thanks for listening in on that. Thanks for following us through on that. I'm sure all you math experts probably know a quick formula to just calculate that much quicker. But
Now, did we do that 5 times or 6 times? Because Direfleet Ravager comes in originally, and then you.
That's true.
And then you do it. So 2 divided by 3 is 0.6. So it still doesn't
1.
kill you. So you get down to 1.
It won't kill you, and then like arguably like there is a threshold where it will. I guess if
Well,
you're under that first point,
you have
if
to
you're
be
under 26.
You have to be at 1.
Yeah, but if you started at less than 26, it's like we're 1 extra Direfleet Ravager on the pattern. So like we'll probably get there. Anyway,
if we did that 5 times and you get to 2, it still doesn't kill you with 6 because that only gets you to 1.
Right, but what I'm saying is we started at 40, but if we actually were at 26 when this began,
yes,
then we would be 1 Direfleet trigger ahead of the game. Anyway.
No, that's what I'm saying. That still only gets us to 1 instead of
1.
2.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Anyway, my point is it'll bring everyone to dangerously low life totals.
Yes.
So if you have an Inferno Titan ready to attack,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
if you're able to drop another constellation creature to just make everyone lose a little bit more life, that kind of thing. It's a very fascinating thing to do, to just put the game on like a real hard wire edge.
It's kind of like a world fire.
A little bit.
Everyone goes
keeps
to
their stuff.
1 or 2, right? Like
Kind of.
the game
Kind of.
just now everyone has 1 life basically.
Basically. Oh, I love it. And that's a good time to attack with all them wolves.
This one is one that we talked about kind of recently. Dante Informal in the patron Discord chat suggested this one. It's Marionette Master. I love this card. 4, 2 black for Human Artificer. So 1/3 with Fabricate 3. So you can put 3 counters or make 3 servos as she enters. Whenever an artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, target opponent loses life equal to Marionette Master's power. So you get to choose each one. Right? So like
Yes.
So choosing like the first one to come in with 3 counters on her makes her a 4/6, and then the other ones will make 3 servos each, so you get 15 servos of like the Rite of Replication one, let's say. So then if you have some way to get rid of those artifacts, if a board wipe or something happens, or if you have a sack outlet, 15 times 4 is what you can
times
do.
9. Because the other ones are 1 power.
They're each 1 power, correct. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
So 15 times 9 is the amount of damage you can do. And that's it's target opponents, not each.
But that's pretty good. That's going to get
But
most
that's
players.
still quite good. 15.
And that's like board protection. Like no one can wrath.
You get to if you can get rid of all of just those servos, it's 135 damage that you can sort of deal out. Pretty because you get a lot of those little ones, you can kind of spread it around pretty well.
No one can wrath the board at that point.
Yeah, no. Yeah, they're just gonna die.
Yeah, right? Cool. Thank you, Dante and Farmel. And then I want to thank this one, right? Since we're running 5 colors, Vinin126 brought to my attention the Primordials, which are just like, I can't believe I missed those. They're so obvious. But we have access to all 5 colors. The green one is banned. But and I think there's not a ton of room. Like there's a lot of competition for slots in this deck, and I think it comes down to flavor of like what kinds of other things do you want to do with it. But Diluvian Primordial might be my favorite. 5 blue Avatar 5/5 flying. When Diluvian Primordial enters the battlefield, for each opponent you may cast up to 1 target instant or sorcery card from that player's graveyard without paying its mana cost. If a card cast this way would be put into a graveyard this turn, exile it instead. So I expect for the most part, like if you kick this guy, you're just going to get a whole bunch of like ramp and draw spells. You're probably not going to cast any like wrath spells when you do it.
Oh, yeah,
But like, and there's some definitely decks that don't run a lot of instants and sorceries outside of that kind of package. But it's no matter what, it's going to be real fun. The choices, it's like going on like an unlimited shopping spree through the graveyards. It's like, I'll cast this and this and this and this and this.
If you really want to get an unlimited shopping spree, the Sepulchral Primordial is also pretty solid.
Yeah,
the
right.
5 and 2 black with Intimidate, the 5/4 that when he enters battle, for each opponent, you may put up to 1 target creature card from that player's graveyard on the battlefield under your control. So Diluvian, you choose, so you'll get 5 spells or 6 in
From
the long
each
run, but
graveyard.
5 from the Rite of Replication. Not from each. No, you just pick 1.
No, 1 from each opponent's graveyard.
Oh yeah, it is. So it is each. Oh wow. Okay, and then basically, Sepulchral is the creature version of it. I forgot that Diluvian was each. That's nuts. Like, they're all each, right? They're all each. They're all each.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, you get some very strong options here, regardless. Yeah, that's great.
Oh lordy.
So either of those is pretty solid. Thanks, Vinin126. Huge suggestion.
Oh, Andy, can I throw one more in? There's just I love this one too. It's not the best, but I had it in the notes, but I took it out. But I want to put it back in.
Okay.
Put it back in Knight of the Black Rose.
Oh, Knight. I was thinking, yeah, okay.
Knights of the Black Rose. 3 white/black for a human knight, 4/4. When Knights of the Black Rose enters the battlefield, you become the monarch.
So you become the monarch 1,000 times.
Sure, but then whenever an opponent becomes the monarch, if you were the monarch as the turn began, that player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. So it's like, do you want to pay 12 life to get monarch?
Oh
like,
my
how bad
God,
do you want it?
Yeah. But that's like, if anyone hits you.
Yeah.
That's crazy. If anyone just hits you, they lose 12 life and you gain 12 life. That's insane. You have to board wipe. You can't attack that person at all. You just have to kill all their Knights of the Black Rose.
You have to board wipe. So this creature is in here where you're like, okay, my game plan isn't going strong. I don't have any ideal targets, but I'm behind on board maybe. Then it's like, okay, I'm going to Rite of Replication this Knights of the Black Rose, because it will probably, I hope it will draw out a Wrath spell and kill everyone else's board so that I can kind of start building back up myself.
Amazing. That's it. That's the heart of the deck. That's what's going
to the card.
Yeah, the pieces that are going to put it all together and make it all hum. But what are the 3 stars of the deck? The 3 best ones?
Well, okay. No brand new cards here. These are all familiar faves. Number 3 star Spitting Image. 4 and 2 Simic, so 6 total. Create a token that's a copy of target creature. So that's just one. We have, it's great. Any of these creatures are good to copy, but it has retrace, so you can cast it again from your graveyard by ditching a land card from your hand. And so you can sort of do a very slow motion Rite of Replication, just eventually just be like, well, I mean, I don't have anything, so I'm just going to do another Gary every turn.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty solid. Now, obviously, Rite of Replication would be the number one star of this deck.
Yeah,
but like we're not. It's exactly. It's like putting the commander. It's like when you build around a commander. It's like, well, obviously. So we're not including it in the top 3 here, just to let you know.
Yeah.
So there's Spitting Image. Next is Sada, Hedron Grinder. 3 red for a 3/3 Goblin Ally, legendary. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets only Sada, copy that spell for each other creature you control that the spell could target. Each copy targets a different one of those creatures. So you just replicate a spell that targets only Sada, and guess what? Rite of Replication targets a creature. So
you get
listen to that evil laugh. Listen to that maniacal, like Ted DiBiase laugh Sean's doing over there. He's gone mad with power. He's gone mad with power. So yeah, you Rite of Replication Sada, and then essentially and kick it. Not only do you, it's not great on Sada. You make 5 other Zadas and they all die right away. But then it gets replicated itself, kicked on every other creature you have, and Sean goes nuts.
Like it's almost like pointless. Like there's no point in figuring out what that does, because like it's just like, well, I don't know, man. We're all gonna mill for 1,000 and lose a bit. Like, I'm not gonna do the math. Let's just all scoop here, right?
Yeah, so, like you're gonna get 6. You're gonna get 5 Garys. You're gonna get 5 Grim Guardians. You're gonna get 5 Marionette Masters. You're gonna get 5 Halimar Excavators. Trust me, the game's over.
Trust me, 5 Inferno Titans.
Yeah.
5 Knights of the Black Rose. Don't matter. It don't
matter. It don't matter.
Yeah.
You need. Oh yeah, it's bonkers.
What a rush.
How is this not the first? How is this not the first star?
Well, because the first star is Panharmonicon. Harmonicon. For generic, for an artifact, if an artifact or creature entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent to trigger, triggers an additional time. So it doubles everything.
Doubles it all.
And like in some cases, if it's like an ally thing, it like doesn't just double it, like exponentials it. In some cases.
Oh, like to the power of.
Yeah.
To the power of Zit.
Yeah.
Oh man, Panharmonicon.
Like just take a moment and imagine just like any of the. So Panharmonicon is definitely way more fun for like the non-instant kill ones, because it's actually win more in a lot of cases.
Right.
But it turns like. Man, a turn Timber Rager with Panharmonicon on there, fun.
Yeah, like Calastra Healer, like you already Rite of Replication that it's 30. Right? It's 30
yeah.
drain everybody for 30. You gain 30. And
so then there's an additional 5
an
additional 6 triggers of that. So it doubles it.
So
I think. But then something like Halimar Excavator where it counts.
So, like, think about it, like, individually. So, like, if you had 6 of them, if you have, so the 5 triggers, and then one comes out, it just doubles it, right?
Yeah, it just doubles it. Right. No, maybe it doesn't exponential it. Maybe I'm thinking about non-budget token doublers.
Maybe, yeah. Anyways, at any rate, obviously this card's crazy and it's going to go nuts. And yeah, like Sean said, if you have something that actually just doesn't finish the game with this, you get to actually appreciate it for a bit.
Yeah, it's almost a shame how like you just don't actually like it does such a powerful thing. You don't actually get to see it happen.
Yeah, you're dreaming too big, man. You're reaching for the stars.
Yeah, burning up.
Yeah, you're burning up there. You're pulling an Icarus. So yeah, Panharmonicon. Great one to have.
Yeah, I mean, some of the surprise.
Think about it. Sorry, before we move on. Like there are going to be times where you don't have Rite of Replication, right?
That's true.
So that's another reason why I think like Panharmonicon and Infinite Reflections are very good, and are worthy of. They're not just win more. Like they are if you get the ideal situation a little bit, right?
That's true.
But when you're not in that magical Christmas land, Panharmonicon does so much work still.
Yeah.
and it like kind of like mini, does it on its own. So that's where you're getting the value there. It's not just, I've got the ideal situation and now I deal 340 damage to everybody or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Anyways, so there you have it. Great
Cool.
stuff.
Yeah.
Were there any surprises or discoveries? Looks like no.
Well, it's interesting because now that we're like having little deck chats before on Patreon, those kind of are the surprises and discoveries.
True,
So
they
they
are,
kind of
yeah.
get folded in. So this category is changing a little bit. I'll still highlight some things if it's just like a card I've like never even heard of before.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
This
but
one seemed like more like the discoveries were more the discovery of how they work in multiples. Like, for
Yeah.
example, Dire Fleet Ravager seemed like a bit of a discovery for us. It's like, oh,
Sure.
wow, you get you only down to one, but like still pretty crazy.
I could have put
things like
that
that.
here for sure.
Yeah, stuff like that, right? As opposed to,
Yeah.
cards we've never actually seen or anything.
Yeah.
And before we get to the budget report, we got to talk about our friends at Wizard Tower.
WizardTower.com.
Check them out. Go to wizardtower.com. And is the Black Friday sale still on, or did that end yesterday?
Well, it's Cyber Monday today. I haven't logged on today, but by the time this is released, I assume everything will be done. I don't know how it works
I know
anymore.
that some places extended it. I know that.
A lot of places do.
Oh yeah, no. Okay, so online. So the Cyber Monday deal is still on today, which is Monday. Which I don't know if you're even going to get this episode today. So we'll see. But at any rate, just go check them out. WizardTower.com. You know what I noticed? I do have to say this, especially with I was looking for Iconic Master stuff, and I was just doing a little browsing, and some of the prices, and I almost like I don't know if it's on purpose or what, but a bunch of the prices on Wizards Tower, they're all in Canadian, but they're the same price as in American.
Whoa.
Yeah, like I was doing comparative shopping. I was looking at like Card Kingdom, and I was looking at their prices compared to Wizard Tower for a lot of cards in Iconic Masters, especially. And I'm guessing it's just throughout. Same price. Like one card would be $11.99 in the American store, and then you look at Wizard Tower and the Canadian price, and that's $11.99. That's like getting $2 or $3 off of a card, essentially. And they do free shipping to the United States and Canada on singles if you order $15 or more. So, like, man, get in on that, right? Take a look. And also check out mtgcanada.com because you can find out, you can find all the articles that Sean and I both write for that site, which is the Wizards Tower like content, like sister site.
Yeah. Mine's just going up today or tomorrow. I took a little bit of a deep dive. The inspiration from my latest article was that like there's some like weird old cards that are always like those are where most of the surprises are.
Mm-hmm.
So I dug really deep through Urza block.
Ooh.
And I was like, what are some interesting like cards we don't see much in Urza block? I don't talk about obviously like Gaia's Cradle because like duh, but there's some cool gems in there that are like pretty interesting. I will leave it to you to look up that article to find some of those treasures.
Cool. And I'm wrapping up my review of all the three color cards in Magic.
Wow.
All of them. I just finished Teamer last week, so there's only one more shard/wedge to do.
Wow.
And then I'll be done, and then I'll be back to writing normal articles. It's not just reviewing cards, but it's been so much fun, and I've even if you just skim those articles, there are some really neat like discoveries to be made in there, and then there's some junk. There's just some old junk in there, that's for sure.
Have you changed your views on any like shards or wedges? Are you about like, if you're like, oh, I got a new appreciation for this one?
You know what? I think I think this is already brewing for me, but I think Mardu is, considering that it doesn't have blue or green, and those are the best commander colors, Mardu is a very well equipped, what would you call that? Wedge? It's a wedge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not a shard. So yeah, like it has a lot. It has great commanders. It surprisingly like has a lot of tools. in the 3 color cards. I'm not talking about like the the monocolored cards that it also has access to, but if we're talking about just the ones that are all 3 colors, man, Temur has like very good commanders, but like the rest of their cards are kind of lacking. It's interesting. A lot some are the other way. Some of them, their commanders are like these aren't great. There's always at least 1 or 2 like excellent commanders in any of the colors, but like yeah, it's interesting. I did find out a lot. So even if you just go and like sort of skim those articles, you'll find a lot of neat stuff, I think.
Cool.
Now it's time for the budget report.
This is... Oh, I like that too. This is the part of the show where we take all the cards, find out what they cost, multiply it by 5, and then if that's still too much money, we won't pay.
Yeah, I think multiply it by 5 might be too much for a lot of these cards.
But not all of them.
Not all of them.
Even if we multiplied most of them, it'd still be under budget. But there are definitely a few. So this deck comes in at, as brewed right now, just under $46, like about $45.93. I'm just going to throw it out there right now. Mystical Tutor is $6. I did not run it, but I could have squeezed out $1 of value and put in Mystical Tutor, but I did not. That's up to you. But the most expensive card as is Rite of Replication.
Really?
Yeah, it's almost $3 right now, because it's just kind of stapley. Like
it is stapley, yeah.
Because it's the mode, right? Because 4 mana for a clone is a fine rate, right? We're happy to do that. And a clone is always going to be, it's a very good Magic card because it's always going to be the best thing on the board.
Yeah.
And in Commander, the best thing is usually an incredibly good thing.
Yeah, that's true.
But then you have that bonus is like, well, if I've got extra mana kicking around, I'll have 5 of the best things.
Yeah, it's so funny how we've done this entire episode basically about Rite of Replication and haven't even considered casting it just on its own for 4 to like copy, like someone's commander or just another great creature. But like that's the like big that's the like fail safe, right? Like you can copy a Blightsteel Colossus if there's one out there,
Well, and and I also didn't talk about this, but I do run a few recursion cards in there to like, so if you need to get rid of your Rite of Replication early for something, go ahead. We'll have cards to get it back from our graveyard.
Oh, then they really won't see that coming then. Slash then briefly will see it coming for sure. So yeah, Rite of Replication in and around $3. Next is Panharmonicon.
Yeah.
Also hovering around that $3 range. Just below it, I'm kind of surprised because this card is so good in so many decks, but it is a bit of a win more thing, and I think there's a little bit of setup cost to this card too, in that like your deck does kind of need to be built to take advantage of it. But I do think that this is one of those cards that I think people had very high hopes for it, and I think we see it like in this deck. We talked about like doing so much crazy stuff with it, but like the base return on it is actually more than people give it credit for, kind of.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think this card is okay. A lot of token doublers get very expensive because doubling tokens is a massive ability. Doubling but doubling ETB effects is also massive, and this card goes in every color of deck that wants it, and I think ETB things are a bit more prevalent. Like if you're a token deck, you're a token deck. But ETB decks can do a lot of different things. I mean, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm wrong on this. But I think Panharmonicon should be evaluated in the same family as Doubling Season is its own thing. But, Anointed Procession or Parallel Lives and those kinds of things. So, like, I think it's cheap right now. I think it's
so
going to
too.
be more expensive.
Yeah. I think so too. And the last one is
Ring of 3 Wishes there. Oh, I didn't put it in the thing.
There it is.
Did I? I forgot to put it. Yeah, Ring of 3 Wishes because, it's about $2.50, $3 still. But it's a good colorless tutor. And I'll say again, probably just a Tamiyo's Journal. Tamiyo's Journal doesn't cost more mana, but it is definitely slower.
Now you have access to all 5 colors here, so like why not just load up on the black tutors that are cheap?
Are there black cheap ones?
Of course, yeah. Well,
you mean like
Diabolic Tutor?
Diabolic Tutor, sure, yeah.
There's what's it called? The I've just been remembering this card's name because I've been including it in a lot more decks, but it's the tutor that costs 5, but if you have spell mastery, you get 3 of it back.
Yeah. So either way, yeah. And there's also one with cycling now.
Yeah, and there's the one with buyback. Like, there's a lot of tutors. Like, they're not like demonic tutor good, obviously. Like, that's a crazy good card. But there's ones that will still get you your card that don't cost 10 mana, basically.
I guess that's on me. I kind of assumed that I wouldn't use most of them because I write them off as out of budget. But you're right. There's a lot of ones that are way better than Ring of Three Wishes. So you know what? So cut Ring of Three Wishes. Put in Diabolic Tutor.
The cheap one, 4, yeah.
And then with that extra savings, squeeze in a Mystical Tutor.
There you go. Or I mean, there's also like Transmute. When you're going after one, when you know your deck is going after one card.
Oh yeah, what's the 4 Transmute?
The 4 Transmute card is probably just as good as that card as any tutor, certainly. And sometimes, like, what was the card in my Hellkite Tyrant deck? Sometimes the Transmute card is like, oh my god, this actually works even if I just cast it. Like, it was actually good as a standalone card in the deck too. So yeah, sometimes
so we got
happen.
2 options.
Oh, okay, name them.
We got 2 options. We can do Dimir Houseguard.
Oh, that's a great card. It's a sack outlet.
Sacrifice a creature, regenerate. Yep. And we have.
It's one of my favorite sack outlets. It's free and it protects itself.
Yeah. And then Clutch of the Undercity. 1 blue, or transmute. It's instant. Return target permanent to its owner's hand. Its controller loses 3 life. Not a bad worst case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty small effect, but sometimes returning a permanent that a person is counting on being there can be devastating.
Yeah, okay.
But that's when you're definitely going to lean towards the transmute. Whereas like Dimir Houseguard, sometimes you're just happy to cast that guy and have a sack outlet out there.
So here's what we need more of. We need a little bit more of this kind of stuff. We're going to want a couple of like ways to get hexproof so that like we can, if we really are in some room for counter spells. Mm-hmm. So we haven't talked about those things, but those are the other like facets of the deck that are in there. And as always, adjust the dials to your taste. Yeah,
I'll just say it quickly. One of my favorite counter spells is Dissipate in EDH. Yeah. Countering a target spell and exiling it instead of putting it in your graveyard is very powerful. It's very
burns.
Good. Yeah, it really does.
It really burns when that happens to you.
I've been in situations where it's like, oh, I could counter this guy's spell, but he's just going to get it back again if I do it. So what's the point? Whereas if you have Dissipate, or there's another one that does this from Battle for Zendikar, and I can never remember the name of it. There's another one. It's a functional reprint. Except that it has Devoid. So it's 1 and 2 blue, target counter a target spell, but it exiles and it has Devoid. I never remember the names of those cards. I don't know why, but anyways. Yeah, so what about some out-of-budget options? We talked about Mystical Tutor, obviously. If you're not familiar with that one, it's just the tutor for an instant or sorcery, costs 1 blue, you put it on top of your library. These days, that card's hovering just under $6, just above $5. So, like, it's a reasonable price, actually, for such a powerful card. So we're happy that it got reprinted in the old Eternal Masters there. But what are some other ones?
So besides the token doublers, which just help Rite of Replication, which arguably are not great in this deck otherwise, Sower of Temptation. This card's almost $10, but 2 blue for a fairy wizard, 2/2 flying. When it comes into the battlefield, gain control of target creature as long as Sower of Temptation remains on the battlefield. So you also get to gain control of 5 other ones when you kick it.
Not bad.
And if people have targeted removal, they can remove all the sowers and get their creatures back. But most likely they're going to have to Wrath anyway, in which case they lose their things too.
Right. And another one is, this one kind of goes without saying. Perforos, God of the Forge, 3 in a red for the legendary God, 6/5, indestructible. The devotion thing. And whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Perforos deals 2 damage to each opponent. And this is the one I always forget about. And 2 in a red is fire breathing. You give your creatures fire breathing.
Yeah.
It's
No
like
one ever does
no
that.
one ever does that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're all about that enter the battlefield, 2 damage to each opponent.
Yeah.
Perforos is just one of the craziest cards in EDH. Like it's
too much.
it's too much. Sometimes people just hit a Perforos and you're like, okay, well, I guess you're going to win eventually,
And
unless
it's indestructible.
yeah,
Like,
it's just so hard. And if it's their commander, forget about it. Like
ugh.
if you're leading a Perforos commander deck, you're a bad person. No, you're not. I'm just kidding. But like, come on, man. It's too much. It's way too much.
Expect the hate.
Just
right?
expect
Like,
the hate. Yeah, exactly.
If you're a Perforos commander and like you're like, oh, what commander is everyone running? Oh, cool, interesting. Oh, you're a Perforos?
Oh, Perforos? Oh.
Oh, so we're all gonna come at this guy nonstop and then we'll play our game, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what you have to do. It's just such a good card. Ah, it's too good, man. I early on in the Theros run, I traded a Perforos for a Heliod.
No.
And the funny thing was, it was for a token deck. I was like, ooh, I got a token deck. I want Heliod because it makes tokens. Oh, man.
None of us knew.
I think some of us knew, not including myself, certainly. But
Perforos was like under $5 at a point.
yeah, definitely. Anyways, Perforos is fantastic in any deck that spams creatures, really. Mm-hmm. Tokens, I don't know, anything, whatever you want. This card's great.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, there we go.
What a fun deck. Man, I would love to hear your guys's. So we had a great chat on Discord going on, but like, throw us a tweet of like some of your favorite Rite of Replication targets, right?
There's
like,
so many.
What's your all-star like Rite of Rep target?
Yeah, there's
so many.
So many. Some of them are sillier and goofier than others, which I like that too, man. Like that's also a whole bunch of fun.
Oh, another one that like the one that was kicking around the Discord, it was the tribute creatures, right? Where like they have to pay tribute or you get an effect. So it's like, well, you're gonna just pay a whole bunch of tribute. So it's just like you just get a bunch of big creatures.
Yeah, that is just get a bunch of big creatures for sure, because no one's gonna keep paying the tribute. Are there any other creatures that when they enter the battlefield you gain control of target creature? Because like Sower has that downside.
Well, you know what? I think Sower's. I think it's actually better in the deck, and it's cheaper than Sower. Is Kega the Tide Star?
Oh yeah, reprinted in Iconic Masters.
So you got 6 Kaiga the Tide Stars, and it's like, well, okay, if you Wrath, nothing happens. But it's just like if I got a sack of any kind, I'm just gonna steal a bunch of creatures. Not to mention, I'm attacking you for 5/5s that are with just like I don't care what happens to them. So it's just like there you go.
Kaiga does need to die, of course.
Yes.
But it does make it hard for your opponents to attack into that.
Or block.
Yeah, exactly. Or block them. Exactly. The art on these dragons, the new art is incredible. I just gotta say.
I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, it's like very cool. I mean, the old art is fine. Yeah, the old art's good too. Don't get me wrong here. Especially on Kaiga, but
the new one is.
The new one is so sick. It looks like he's coming over Niagara Falls.
Nice.
But that's Kamigawa somewhere.
Yosei is beautiful in the new art.
Yosei. So the old Yosei, I was always like, what's going on in this? I guess he's just twirling around. And he has like a big weird skull head. And then Iconic Masters, oh man, on fire.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, go to Wizards Tower, get some Iconic Master stuff. Update your art if you want. Yeah, okay, well that's it. There's going to be a little Brews news segment, which is our like evolved commander interviews.
And you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take a moment. We don't talk about this enough in a while, but like it really is super helpful when you guys like if you just want to take a second, skip on over to iTunes, maybe like thumbs up us, give us a nice rating on there. Subscribe to our YouTube if you don't mind, if you haven't done so already. These are the tiniest things that you can do that make a significant difference for us. I don't think we don't talk about this much because we're not going to like push this every episode, but it's time for a little reminder. I think it's nice to just like if you can take a second, just skip on over, click that subscribe, click that like. Costs you nothing except a couple seconds of time.
Yeah.
If you have an iTunes account, give us a 5-star review. That helps us get discovered by some other stuff. And tell a pal that you play Commander with that maybe who doesn't listen to it. Spread the love.
Yeah, we just want to get out there even more so than we are. If you liked us getting those preview cards back for the Commander 2017 set, we'd love to make that happen again, and you can directly help us with that. And it's in little things like review on iTunes, subscribing to YouTube channel, things like that. So
do you know what helps too, right? Like if you're on Twitch there, like give us a follow on Twitch.
Sure,
right?
Totally. Yep. All that stuff really helps. I know people say it all the time, and it's like it kind of becomes this like white noise. But if you do enjoy the podcast, it just is help. Like it's huge. It's honestly really huge help to do that.
Yeah.
Helps us create more for you. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, speaking of that, here comes the little creative segment here, Brew's News. A couple of jokes coming your way. Hopefully you like it. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next week. And see you later.
Bye.
Bye. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Brew's News. I'm Andy.
And I'm Sean. This week in Arts and Entertainment, we take you to Huatli's Poetry Corner. And now some poetry by Huatli, warrior poet. Since I can't actually planeswalk around, I can only write about stuff. Here we go. There once was a vamp from Adanto who got lost in the thick jungles pronto. He climbed up a tree, the better to see, and promptly got chomped by a Bronto. Next poem. A poem by Huatli. Pirates like wielding a cutlass. They have their own version of justice. Don't get in their way. Do what they say, or you'll find a fate that is gutless. A poem by Huatli. The gate watch all lost, now they're bitter. 'Cause Nicol Bolas is not a quitter. Is Chandra okay? A Johnny's away, and Jace can't log into his Twitter. A poem by Huatli. Ixalan at night can get creepy. The vampires never get sleepy. The dinos can fight, and pirates take flight, and the waters where merfolk make pee-pee. That's all my poems.
Some fine poetry by our friend Huatli. I always love it when she stops by.
Oh, me too. Such great poetry from Ixalan.
Anyways, if you have your own poetry, send it to P.O. Box 40221, Pueblo, Colorado. That's not where we live, but someone will get it and enjoy it. Anyways, keep shuffling.
If you want to contact us, I'm at Sean Tabaris.
And I'm at Andy Holbone.
Send us an email at commandersbrew@gmail.com.
You can find out when we go live on Twitch if you follow us at twitch.tv.
And if you care to support us on Patreon, check us out at patreon.com.
And you can find our deck list on tappedout.net.
And if we forgot anything, commandersbrew.com.